Hello and welcome to Keeping Pace. I'm your host, Dwayne Gildart. On today's show, we'll talk to maritime horseman Earl Smith. We'll have a report on the upcoming late closure series for fillies and mares, and we'll take a look back at some of the stories we featured earlier this season. But first, here's Doug Harkness with a report on the recent awards banquet held in Charlottetown.
Well, there was more year-end silverware from Molzan, the Paris-Dexter filly owned by Louis McIsaac of Cornwall PEI. She was chosen the Atlantic Canada Horse of the Year and the 3-year-old filly of the year in earlier polling. And just recently at Charlottetown, the PEI Horseman's Award banquet, Molzan was selected the top performer of the year on PEI. She earned over $108,000 in her stakes career, was never defeated in the Atlantic Sire Stakes, and was a repeat winner at 2 and 3 in the Dairy Queen Futurity. We're going to pick up a race now in Molzan last year when she won the Frank Stanfield Memorial at Truro, the Frank and Beth Stanfield inaugural, in a track record time for the stakes race. Let's go now to Joe Kelly for the call of that race.
They're off and pacing. Blue Chip down away looking for the lead. Molzan driving out second. Whispering Abe 3 wide into the first turn is away third. A True Bell down looks to tuck in fourth. CL's Beauty comes away in 5. Shockatees from 6. And the early trailer is Charlotte's Future. They continue down the backstretch led by Molzan. Whispering Abe on the outside is now gathered back looking for the pocket. Away at the rail in 3 is Blue Chip down. Next in line, that's True Bell down sitting in 4. From the 5 spot as they head into the turn is CL's Beauty looking at it from 6 as they continue on to the 3/8 is Shockatees, and Charlotte's Future is trailing. Seating arrangements are now complete. As they move off the top turn, it's Molzan by 1 length. Whispering Abe has found the pocket. Blue Chip down next in line, 3rd, followed by True Bell down 4th. A brisk opening quarter, 28 seconds flat. They move up past the halfway point. Molzan, the pace setter, leading it by a length. 2nd is Whispering Abe. Blue Chip down next in line is 3rd. True Bell down takes a look 4th. Racing out of 5 is CL's Beauty. Then Shockatees has 6. And Charlotte's Future can see them all as they move to the backstretch. Still no change. Half in 58 and 4. It's Molzan by 1. There goes Blue Chip down out of the outside to challenge at the rail. Whispering Abe is 3rd. Moving up to CL's Beauty in the passing lane. 4th, dropping back at the rail. In 5 is True Bell down. They check in at the 3/4. Molzan there by 3 parts of a length. Sitting on the outside is Blue Chip down 2nd. Whispering Abe at the rail 3rd. CL's Beauty moving up into contention 4th. With Shockatees now racing 5th. 1:29 and 4 the 3/4. Less than 1/8 to come. Molzan leads them off the top turn by 2 lengths. Blue Chip down in pursuit 2nd. Whispering Abe is pacing 3rd. Through the stretch they come. Molzan, Blue Chip down. Whispering Abe. Molzan wins the first division of the Frank and Beth Stanfield Memorial. Blue Chip down finishes 2nd. And the show spot goes to Whispering Abe.
Truro Raceway staged a 16- card last Sunday after its midweek card was canceled because of a winter storm. One of the most competitive classes was the preferred class. Here's Doug Harkness with his pre-race assessment.
Well, the preferred class won his race 15 on the marathon card, and in from Charlottetown was Parkhurst, an invitational pacer who's looked very well in a few starts out this year. He was placed to winner 2 starts ago and finished 2nd to the highly rated Wanted in his last start at Charlottetown. With the rail, Gary McDonald and Parkhurst were expected to be major factors in this race. Also trailing Parkhurst out was Joe Sixpack, who still had the fastest mile in the Maritimes at this point in the season. Joe Sixpack would like to rough it, but leave from the 2nd tier, and the way that Parkhurst left should get a good shot in this race. Also back at the races after a 2-month rest is Some Nice Catch, the former Horse of the Year in Atlantic Canada. Sandy Fraser's 5-year-old Willowbird filly was leaving from post 5 for Russell Burgoyne. Had looked fairly impressive in her 2nd start back. Also in this crowd, some pretty rough company, and Mather's Blacure, who was leaving from post number 4, and General Piper, a horse that was leaving from post 6. This horse has got lots of air in his last few starts, but today we had Kevin Pinkney driving for the first time, and whether Kevin would go for cover or take General Piper on the overland route remained to be seen. But here's Joe Kelly with the call of the preferred class at Truro Raceway last Sunday.
They're off and pacing. Off the gate first, Some Nice Catch looking for the lead against Parkhurst at the rail as they drive onto the opening 8th. Parkhurst, Some Nice Catch on the outside. Up on the outside and 3 wide into the first turn is Bob Racing 3rd. In the center, 4th, Mother's Blazure. 5th at the rail is Barnabas here. Away 6th is Joe Sixpack. Roughead's Cashback away in 7. General Piper in 8, and 9th and trailing is May Contain. They continue past the opening quarter. On top, Parker's leading it a length and a half. Bob gets parked out second. Inside, Some Nice Catches racing third. Mathers Blazure finding his seat fourth. Barnabas here next in line 5. Then 2.5 back to Joe Sixpack racing in 6. General Piper on the outside has 7. 8 is Roffit's Cashback in 9th and moving to the outside. May Contain 29-1 was the opening quarter. They move off the turn approaching the half. Parker's leading it by 1. Getting a good journey in the pocket is Some Nice Catch second. Racing on the outside third. And moving first over is Mathers Blazure, giving cover to Barnabas here on the limb. Racing fourth. Fifth on the inside is Bub. Roffit's Cashback 6. Joe Sixpack in 7. Outside 8 is General Piper and May Contain. Can see them all as they head to the 3/4. The half reached in a minute. 1/5 second. It's still Parker's by 3 parts of a length. Mathers Blazure is attacking on the outside second, locked in, looking for room. Third is Some Nice Catch, getting a second over trip. Barnabas here in 4th. 5th is Bob. They head into the turn. Mathers Blazure on the outside, sticking a neck in front. Parker second. There goes Some Nice Catch to the outside third. Barnabas here on the outside is 4th. On the inside racing 5th. As they continue past the 7/8 is Bob. Moving off the top turn, Mathers Blazure leads them by 1. Some Nice Catch now taking aim second. Dropping back, Parker's third, 1:31 1/3. They drive to the stretch. Mathers Blazure, Some Nice Catch on the outside. Mathers Blazure, Some Nice Catch. Late move, Barnabas here. It's close. It looks like Mathers Blazure holding on Some Nice Catch and Barnabas here.
Truro Raceway will stage the first leg of the Blakey Series for fillies and mares on Sunday, March 6th. Here's Doug Harkness with a report on some of the entries.
Well, the Blakey's Dodge Chrysler Series for fillies and mares opens on Sunday at Truro Raceway. Some updates in that series. Floodland Sokoa, one of the New Brunswick horses, just beat the top class at EPR last Saturday, equaling her lifetime record of 2:01-2. She's a 4-year-old by Winning Moment, owned by the Briggs stable of Florenceville, New Brunswick, and she's one of the outside horses that's coming in. Sort of a preview to next Sunday's races. On race 14, last Sunday in our marathon card, we had 3 entries from that Blakey's fillies and mares series that we're going to post. Cecily, a newcomer in from Connaught Park, is leaving on the rail for Jason McDougall, while Cinderella, a former stake star, was leaving from post number 7, and Pepper Allen, who won an late closer last year at Fredericton, was in for Danny Romo, leaving from post 3. There were 9 entries in this race, with the 3 mares among the conditioned pacers. Let's go to Joe Kelly now for the call of race 14 last Sunday.
They are off and pacing. Unfair Advantage sent off the gate first, looking for the lead. At the rail is Sicily. Away racing at the rail in a 3. Kilkerran Jade on the limb is Pepper Allen 4th. Away 5th on the inside. That's Bill Batter. Parked out and racing from 6 is Cindy Ella. O'Can Willie gets away sitting in 7. Light and Warrior has 8, and 9th and trailing is PH Terminator. They move on to the opening quarter. On the front end, Unfair Advantage leads it by 2 lengths. Sicily's in pursuit second. Kilkerran Jade takes a look at a 3. Pepper Allen at the rail is 4th. Bill Batter pacing in 5. Campaigning the rail 6 is Cinderella. Then Cocan Willie has 7. Light and Warrior 8. And at the back of the field is PH Terminator. 28-4 the opening quarter. No change as they continue off the top turn approaching the half. It's still Unfair Advantage by 1 length. Getting a good journey second is Sicily with Kilkerran Jade at the rail traveling third. Pepper Allen takes a look 4th. First up in 5. As they continue into the lower turn is Cindy Ella from 6. That is Bill Batter. 7th is Cocan Willie. Racing in 8, Light and Warrior, and still at the back is PH Terminator. Onto the backside, final time, the half in a minute, 1/5 second. Still out front, Unfair Advantage by 2 lengths. Sicily still racing second with Kilkerran Jade traveling third. Pepper Allen takes a look at a 4. They continue past the 3/4. Out front, Unfair Advantage now just by 3 parts of a length. Sicily moving to the outside from the pocket. 3 wide is Kilkerran Jade. They move into the turn onto the 7/8. Sicily in the center takes over the lead by a head on the inside. Unfair Advantage is battling back gamely. Kilkerran Jade outside is 3rd. Saving ground on the inside. Bill Batter into contention 4th. Off the turn, 1:30 the 3/4. Unfair Advantage has reclaimed the lead. Sicily on the outside. Bill Batter down inside is now racing 3rd. They drive to the payoff. Unfair Advantage, Sicily. Unfair Advantage wins it. Sicily is 2nd. And the show spot goes to Bill Batter.
This late closure event is just the latest in a series of special events staged by Truro Raceway during its fall and winter season. Doug Harkness stopped by the Raceway office and talked to Joe Kelly about how the winter meet is progressing.
Well, Joe Kelly, we're in the midst of the middle of winter, really. How's the horse population been holding up at Truro Raceway?
Well, it's down a little bit from what it has been through the fall and the early part of the winter, but that's to be expected every winter through January, February, and March. We usually have a reduction in horse population, and with the way the weather's been this winter, it's been so cold that there hasn't been many horses able to train on a regular basis or get ready to qualify, and through January and February, we've only been having like 5 and 6 horses out to qualify, so really, until we get a break in the weather, I can't really expect much of a resurgence in the horse population.
And of course, it's a little early yet for the 2-year-olds of last year to start coming back as 3-year-olds, and some of those 3-year-olds to come back too, I guess.
Yeah, it's quite early, and it might be even later before they come back because of the weather, with the delays in their training schedules. And we just hope to get a break in the weather and they're able to get them ready.
Joe, a very nice horse who raced at Truro last year, Vagabond Victor, has left the grounds being sold to St. John Interest. But I understand he may be coming back to Truro in the not too distant future.
Yes, I was talking to the wife of the new owner just today, and she informed me that she was mailing out the nomination to the Weatherby Series, so we'll be seeing Vagabond Victor come back here to Truro Raceway to race in the Eric Weatherby Open Pacing Series.
Joe, let me ask you this. You watched Vagabond Victor in his starts here in his 3-year-old year. As a stakes graduate, do you think he'll be able to travel with the big boys?
I don't think there's any indication to say he won't be able to travel with them. He's one of the top 3-year-olds last year. Of course, he equaled the maritime record for 3-year-olds in a half-mile track in Charlottetown. From all indications, I think he'll be able to compete and maybe be one of the top invitational horses here.
Okay, the Weatherby Series coming up. Any other possibilities? Like Kilcairn Ingle won it last year, I understand, is training back.
Yeah, he's prepping, and he's going to pay up, and hopefully he'll be ready for the Eric Weatherby Series. And West River again, of course, with Claire McDonald, retained West River again after there was some talk about her maybe selling him. But
West River Diesel.
West River Diesel, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
West River again is racing here now.
Yeah.
West River Diesel.
Yeah.
He looks like he'll be tough to beat in that Weatherby Series if he continues the form that he had in the early part of the winter here. Also, Burley's.
Ambrose Blaze or Hornby Blaze?
Hornby Blaze, I believe the name of the horse is, yeah. And there's indications that he might be paid up into the series, so it looks like a top-notch series. And
I understand from Moncton, too, that Romeo Boucher is thinking about Chatham Light coming back.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, of course. He was in it last year, and there's all indications that he'll be back again, too.
Okay. Joe, let's talk about your next series coming up. It starts March the 6th, and the Open Mares, the Blakey Series for Open Mares, or fillies and mares who were non-winners last year. It's got 21 nominations, some fairly nice horses.
Yes, we do, and it looks like a very competitive series. There's no real outstanding mares that look like they're going to be a layover in this series. We have 8 or 9 of them from outside that are not racing here or don't ship in here or stabled here, so that'll add some different flavor to the series. We have a top mare from St. John, Yaya Ralston, who was a very competitive mare up there. I understand she's down in the States right now, but she's paid up and looks like she'll be coming back to the series. Spudlane Sequoia, that's racing in St. John. Of course, we have the tough mare Fit and Chips from here. Diana Royce is training back. She's paid up into the series. Of course, you have Paradox, Stiff Lease Girl, Pepper Allen, Cinderella, and very competitive group.
Diana Royce is, I think, won over $200,000 in her career, Joe. A real top-class mare. I understood she had been in the broodmare ranks, but she's been training back now to race. Is that right?
She has been. I haven't talked to Brad Jones, who has her for Peter Foy. I haven't talked to him to see how she was training back, but if she comes back to be just half as good as what she was, it looks like she'll be tough to beat in the series.
And I guess in that series, too, we have Canal Street, who won, what, a couple of years ago?
That's right. Canal Street was owned by Lyle Carter back then, and in the Dave Carey barn, and they won the series. So, and she's paid back in, and of course she's getting better too, and she seems to enjoy winter racing. She's improved this winter, and she could be a factor in the series.
So they have a sustaining payment to make, but it would look like 21 have nominated that you'll at least have enough for a couple of divisions each week.
I would say, looking over the list of 21, I'd possibly get 18 or 19 making the second payment, because like I say, there's nothing in there to scare anybody out of it.
Well, we certainly wish the mares the best of luck in the Blakey series, and then after that, I guess, is what, a 3, 4, and 5-year-old?
The 3, 4, and 5-year-old series. There are non-winners of 10,000 in 1993, and maritime breds, non-winners of 12,500. And I had some phone calls from various people wishing to send payments in, so I think it's going to be still just as successful as the Blakey's Dodge Chrysler series.
Last year in that series, it was sort of ironic this year, but last year in that series, Earl Smith had bought 2 horses at Harrisburg. One was a horse called East Coast Surfer, who won your series last year for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And the other one was a horse who is now the leading money winner in all North America, Arrive at 5, who I believe started here, did he not?
Yes, he did. He started here, and I guess if Earl Smith had known that he was going to turn out the horse that he is now, he might not have sold him, or might not have sold him for such little money.
But it also indicates, of course, what caliber horses you might have in that series, the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. You just don't know, do you?
You just don't know. I know I have one payment in already on that 3, 4, and 5-year-old, the Stargaze Hanover colt. It's never raced. So who knows?
Well, Joe, thanks very much for sharing this moment with us, and we wish you the best in the upcoming series.
Thank you, Doug.
It's this time of year when many young horses begin appearing on the track, prepping for their 3-year-old stakes season. With a look at the non-winners 2 and 3 lifetime, here's Doug Harkness.
Well, race 5 last Sunday featured non-winners of 2 and 3 lifetime. This is a race basically for young horses who are just starting to race as a 3-year-old or are coming back after a 4-year-old season when they didn't have much success. In this particular race, the horse that was favored to win it is a highly touted son of Knightly Blue Chip by the name of Charlotte's Ruler. He's won a couple of races here for Earl Smith. He's owned by Tom McPherson of Glace Bay, Nova Scotia, and is a colt that many are looking for to be a stakes prospect this year. In this race with Charlotte's Ruler was But Kenny Wynn, who just recently had taken a new lifetime mark for Kevin Pinckney, leaving from the post 7 spot, but also in this race picked by Joe Kelly to be one of the contenders. Also in from Connaught making his first start, Gary McDonald had Doris Angus, a 4-year-old Vanishing Point mare owned by Quebec Interest. Paris Model, who has been off and on this year, likes to stay at the back and come on, was in it for Emmons McKay, was considered perhaps to be a factor, and Presenter Celtic, the horse that's owned by Jack Ferguson of the Atlantic Standardbred Breeders Association, was leaving from post 2. Now let's see the results of the race 5 throw last Sunday. Here's Joe Kelly with the call.
They're off and pacing. Doris Angus off the gate looking for the early lead. Poetic Forecast out the rail is away second. Up on the far outside is Paris Model wide third. Charlotte's Ruler on the limb is racing out of 4. Presenter Celtic gets away in 5, racing from 6 as they head down the backstretch. And on to the opening quarter is Hustling Abbey. Little Wonder is away in 7, and But Kenny Wynn is 8th and trailing. They head past the opening station. Moving up to take charge is Paris Model, leading it by 1 length. Sitting in the pocket is Doris Angus second. Charlotte's Ruler up on the outside is now third. At the rail is Poetic Forecast racing out of 4. Pacing in 5 for Center Celtic. Hustling Abbey to the outside 6, but Kenny Wynn has 7, and a Little Wonder is now trailing. They were by the opening station in 30 seconds flat. They round the top turn, approaching the halfway point. Out front, Paris Model continues to show the way. Charlotte's Ruler on the outside is giving chase second. Doris Angus locked in the pocket third. Second over 4th is Hustling Abbey. Third over racing in 5 as they move into the turn, but Kenny Wynn off stride. In the front end was Paris Model. That shuffles up the field as they head by the 5/8 on top. And now leading it by 1 length is Charlotte's Ruler. Hustling Abbey is second, but Kenny Wynn moving to the outside third. Pacing out of 4 as they move on to the 3/4. And to the outside is Doris Angus. They're midway down the backstretch. Charlotte's Ruler by a neck, but Kenny Wynn right there second. Racing along at the rail third is Hustling Abbey. Doris Angus next in line is 4th. Little Wonder in 5. Poetic Forecast has 6. They continue on to the 7/8. Charlotte's Ruler's the one to catch, but Kenny Wynn is right there second. Hustling Abbey third. Doris Angus 4th. 3/4 in 1:34 and 2/5 seconds. They round the top turn and straighten out through the lane final time. Charlotte's Ruler, but Kenny Wynn attacking on the outside, but Kenny Wynn is sticking a nose in front. Charlotte's Ruler battling back gamely at the rail, at the line. It's close. We'll wait for the picture between Charlotte's Ruler and But Kenny Wynn. The show spot to Doris Angus.
Well, a close finish, but when the photo was up, it was Charlotte's Ruler with Earl Smith being the victorious horse in that last race, edging out, but can he win? Earl Smith, the driver of Charlotte's Ruler, is with us now. Earl, close one.
Yes, it was close, and matter of fact, I thought the other horse might have had me at the wire, and we were lucky we overcome a little mix-up there at the half, and the horse made a jump, and a couple of them tucked up. But this is a very nice colt, and he had a few problems last year, and he just still ain't yet 100%, but I think if we get him straightened out, going straight, I think he'll make a nice colt for the stake program.
You're aiming him for the stakes, Earl, pretty well, or are you looking at that 3, 4, and 5-year-old series here at Truro?
Well, we're sort of deciding this week on his race, how he race, whether we'll put him in that 3 or 4-year-old series. And we also have a couple more we're thinking about putting in, too.
Charlotte's Ruler, he's a well-enough bred horse, so you say he just quite didn't mature last year or had some problems?
Yes, he is a nice horse and slick-gaited horse, but he had a few problems last year. They trained him down pretty well and just weren't right enough to race. And he's trained down pretty good. And just after his first start here, he just weren't steering right. And today, even at the finish, like he was still bearing in it, he just ain't 100%. But hope we can overcome that and make the stake trail with him.
Earl, you had a couple of great 3-year-old, 2-year-old fillies last year. I just want to ask you sort of an update on Dexter Jane, who won the Dairy Queen, and the other horse that was with you all year, Dexter Jane, she won the Dairy Queen, and the horse that finished second, Pillar of Strength, is also in your stable. So how are they coming along?
We're getting them ready now. We've been in 25 with them, and that's both these horses, like Dexter Jane, like his sister Dexter Wine, she takes a lot of work and hard to get them sharp. They're early in the year. I mean, Dexter Wine, she was a late bloom as a 2-year-old, and late bloom as a 3-year-old, and Dexter Jane last year, it was late before she get into gear, and we're just working on them now, trying to get them sharp for early in the year with their Dairy Queen. It's in June the 8th, eliminations, and we're just going to get them ready and get a few races in them before that.
I know there's been some comment about the Dairy Queen being kind of early this year. It's the first stake test. I think maybe just a bit early?
I think it is more or less early for a major stake race. Like, people running into problems, you know, weather getting ready, and it's nice to have your colts ready to have 3 or 4 starts in for your stake program, and you could come up with some lameness problems and stuff. But I guess work out good for some won't work out so good for.
Yeah. At least as a trainer, you know what dates you're kind of pointing them for, right?
Well, this is it. You got the dates, and I mean, you just got to get at it and forget about the cold weather and get going with it.
Earl, you're always one of the top trainers in the Maritimes with young horses, and want to congratulate you again on the marvelous success of Arrive at 5, who was the top horse in North America this year. Did you ever think he was going to be that great?
Well, he was a nice colt from day one. He just loved what he'd done, out jogged, trained, and he just loved doing it. And I went in 2 minutes here than Truro, and I know he could have went 59 or a little better then. I'd plans were to lay him off for long and back, but someone come along and bought him, and if a fellow bought him the day he bought him, I said he'd call take a mark at 55 someday, but I didn't think he was going to go in 51, and he's now 9 for 9 this year with well over 100,000 made.
Well, perhaps the Langs will be coming back looking for some more from you, though, really, eh?
Hopefully, for I have 3 or 4 there.
Earl, tell us about your 2-year-olds this year. Anything promising? Another Arrive at 5, maybe?
We get some nice 2-year-olds. We got 4 real nice fillies. We have a Denman filly, and we have a Nightly Blue Chip filly, and we have 2 pairs of Dexter fillies are really nice, and I have a Quality Blue Chip filly. I have 5, I guess, real nice fillies, and we have a few colts there. We're going 10 2-year-olds, and we've been in 35 with them, but we are a little behind other years. I mean, perhaps not speed-wise, we're not much this faster, but we don't have as many miles as I usually have in this time of year. I usually get lots of miles in them and lay them off for a month early and then come back with them and qualify them. So I'd say we're perhaps about 2 weeks behind work-wise.
Well, from past experience, we'll be watching for Earl Smith and his 2-year-olds this year, and good luck with them.
Thank you, Doug.
Recently, a novice race fan asked us how officials identify each individual horse. For this reason, we decided to repeat a story we did early last fall with Reg Weatherby, the USTA identification specialist.
Well, Reg Weatherby, you have an important function in the harness racing business in the way of identification of horses. You're the tattoo man for the USTA. Just what's that mean?
Well, we tattoo all horses, and this is for the general public, the betting public, so that we know what horses are in the race. And they have to be tattooed before they're allowed to race. And I like the job, but you go all over the Barrentines, to a lot of the farms, all the tracks, 2 or 3 times a year, and just try to identify the horses to make sure they're right.
When they identify the horses, you of course, you tattoo them on the lip, and this goes on their registration papers. And then when the horse is in the paddock or in the test booth, then there's identification of the horse. That's how they identify them?
There is identification then, and paddock judge has a list of all the horses and all the tattoo numbers, the Americans and all this and that, and he checks a percentage of them, a big percentage of them, to see that they match.
Okay, what about the tools you're trading now in tattooing? Well, how's the actual tattoo work now?
That's the twitch, no.
Yeah.
And you put this over the top of the nose, bring it down, and then turn it up. So it's up this way, and the inside of the lip is right in here. And these are the numbers or letters that you tattoo with. And you tattoo on the inside of the lip right there.
Is there a number assigned to each horse, Reg, before you tattoo them?
Definitely, there has to be a number assigned. And also, the first character is a letter, and this designates the year.
I see. So a 2-year-old might be a K and a 3?
No, a 2-year-old, yeah, a 2-year-old is a K.
Yeah.
And 1-year-olds, which will be 2 the 1st of January, they're L's.
And so when you see that L marking, you know that was the foal of that year,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
There is a 2 or 3 letters they don't use. They don't use 0, and they don't use a 1. Or I. I and 1 are so near the same.
They'd think it was an O or an I.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot of, I don't know, I guess they're quite a bit short. I don't know.
Yeah, what about I see a sort of an ink substance on the tattoo?
It's just a printer's ink, but we can only use the one kind, and we have to get it from Columbus. So, and if this ink freezes, you can tattoo, but in 3 months' time it's gone. It just fades out. Now, they got no reason for it, but this is a fact. Life, eh?
Yeah. I guess probably we should explain to our viewers, too, that although the process of coiling up the lip and what have you might look a little painful, it really is not painful to the horse.
No, it isn't painful. 99% of horses won't move. And if it was painful, I'm sure they would.
Well, Reg, we thank you very much for being with us on our show and giving people an idea of how we can actually identify the horses, and that's the tattoo.
Yeah, that's right. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's Keeping Pace for this week. We're still looking for good story ideas, so please send them to Keeping Pace, care of Eastern Cable, Channel 4, 69 Walker Street, Shore, Nova Scotia, B2N 488. For everyone on both sides of the cameras, I'm Dwayne Geldert. Thanks for watching, and see you at the track.